the there's the first two rules of every tabletop are number one to have fun. Okay, that if you're not having fun, you shouldn't be playing. Like, why are you there? The second rule is that every rule in every book is a suggestion. Okay. Now you want to be consistent with your rulings, like you don't want to change the rules every time you play because that off-puts players, it makes them angry. But if there's something that doesn't make sense to you or you think that should be different, you aren't married to the rules. You can make what are called house rules. A lot of people don't like the way the initiative system works. They think it takes too long to roll up initiative. They don't like keeping track of who's going when. So they like to house rule a lot. By rules, every creature and every character is supposed to roll initiative and you order them from like the highest to lowest. What's a typical abstraction of this is the GM will have all the players roll their initiative and put them in order, and then he'll roll initiative for each group of monsters. So let's say there's both goblins and hobgoblins, he'll only roll 2 initiative instead of like 10. And then one will be the hobgoblins, one will be the goblins. Some people abstract it further and put it so that all of the enemies have the same initiative. Some people abstract it even further, and again, it's just how far do you want to change the rules? Like, some people put all the players roll their dice, and they take the highest initiative and take it. I saw an initiative system that I was actually pretty interested with, where the guy said he had all the players roll and take the highest initiative, so they went first, you know? So like if you got like an 11, a 15, a 10, and a 19, all the PCs would act on a 19. The way he compensated that for the monsters is he had all the monsters go at once as well, but he had the monsters roll 1d20 for each player character. The reason he did that is because otherwise it's like 6 rolls of the PCs versus his 1 roll, so it's not really fair for the monsters. So he basically gave himself an equal shot to roll high. It's just different ways of playing. You know, like how do you interpret the rules? How realistic do you want things? How over the top do you want stuff? Let's see. What are some really typical things also that people change? What can you think of, Valinus? Like, what are some house rules that you usually see pretty typically happen? Like, initiative is usually one of them, I think.
Well, we were talking about the other day is a very flexible rule is die results, like with the DM. DM will oftentimes, will almost ubiquitously will favor the flow of the game rather than the actual results of the rolls.
Okay, it's fair too. Like, that's called, it's basically ignoring the dice, or fudging is what it's
Yeah.
called. Sometimes a DM, the person who's running the game, the storyteller, the guy who's like, he's both storyteller and referee. You can think of him like that. He's the guy that controls the monsters and tells the story. Um, some DMs will roll their rolls in front of the players, and that makes it very, very arbitrary as to what happens. Like, it's completely fair in a way. Um, a lot of DMs, myself included, we hide our die rolls, and we do that for a reason. We do that because we want to manipulate the die rolls when we need to. Um, for example, if I feel like the PCs are just having an incredible run of bad luck, and it has nothing to do with their choices. Like, their choices were good, or at least okay, but they've just been rolling terribly, and the monsters are rolling great. Maybe I'll make that critical hit just be a normal hit. Maybe I'll make this hit actually be a miss, you know? You can make little changes like that. That's not exactly house ruling, but that's a house ruling concept. You can make small changes to the game to increase the tension of the game, or to make the players feel powerful, make them feel vulnerable, all those types of things. And I'll often manipulate the rules in that way. Maybe not to the extreme, like you're not trying to kill your players with this. But You can definitely present them with situations that dissuade what's called metagaming. We use that term a lot. If you're unfamiliar with it, metagaming is information that you get outside of the game that influences the game. Now, what do I mean by that? Uh, you your role in a role playing game is to play as a character. Now, let's say that you're an astronomer. Yeah, if you're an astronomer, you might know tons about the stars and like how they interact in the night sky. Like your character doesn't know that unless he has those skill ranks. Your character doesn't know advanced mathematics. Your character might not understand how stalactites form. You know, so that's always a challenge. And it goes even further than that. It's usually like number crunching is the thing people bitch about, like understanding what number they need to roll on a d20 and then choosing whether they want to have certain pluses or minuses applied based on that. It just happens. But by manipulating the game rules like that fudging that I'm talking about, you can also discourage metagaming in a way. Like if they're sure that something's going to work 100% of the time, yeah, it'll work a few times, but maybe this one particular time there's something different. Maybe they've counted on their magic to get through 2 or 3 labyrinths, and then all of a sudden this labyrinth has an anti-magic shell over it. Or maybe the walls are amorphous. Whenever the players cast something magical, it changes the maze fundamentally.